Not a good start. Not a good go. So I haven't done anything that I've been needing to do this weekend in terms of stuff for the YouTube channel, for this channel that you might be watching now. Listening is fine. Listening wise, everything seems to be fine on Spreaker. Got the podcast up and everything. STPP is not up on YouTube yet. That's good. That's great. We did not end up recording Friday for Zach for his birthday because I had another stupid episode, which is just, it's getting annoying and insulting and embarrassing. And I know my friends have to feel like, come on, Keith, you're doing this on purpose. I'm not. I got so tired on Friday, I couldn't do it because I worked. I just couldn't do it that day. Didn't record that day, didn't record yesterday. So right now, STPP's up in the air for next week. Great. I feel like I have allergies coming in, so even more boo-boo, bee-boo type stuff. Not good. Not a good last couple days in terms of looking as if I'm keeping up to date with everything. You know what I mean? Now I look unkempt still. Remember last week when I said, I'm going to go shave, I'm going to go look better and look less unkempt. Look like every other neckbeard gamer out there. So great. Can't wait for comments like that. And now I'm here doing the opposite of last week, which there was a lot of good news last week. A lot of things I liked. This week, I'm doing the opposite. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about that's not going to be good. And a lot of stuff that might get me heat if this was wrestling. Might get me hate. Get me not looking good. So I'm very much not interested in doing this right now. But if I don't do it now, I feel like I'm not going to come back to it. So here we are. I want to warn you right now. This is a very opinionative episode of OMO. Thank you for joining me, by the way. I'm going to talk about 3 subjects now. Originally it was 2, but I'm adding on 1 here, very last minute. But just touching on it, because, and honestly, I will say all 3 of these are basically like surface level. Just touching on them, giving my opinion on just what it looks like from on the surface. So if that harms the opinion, absolutely, then, whatever. If you don't want this in a gaming podcast, I understand. Go to next week. I'll be hopefully more energetic, fulfilled, not as irritated in myself in terms of not getting things done or whatnot there. But we are going to talk about 3 things I really need to talk about. I really want to talk about, at least to a point. Let's start with the first one because it's the most recent one. We'll just go right into it. So apparently, as of March of this year, 2026, if you buy a digital game from the PlayStation Store on PS4 or PS5, you have 30 days to make sure it needs checked to be online again. You need to check it every 30 days online, or else you lose access to it. Their new DRM policy, which is very ironic, since This is basically what they made fun of and got onto Xbox about many of years ago. But hey, it's been 10 years. The landscape is different with gaming and everything. That just shows back then that PlayStation was just waiting to see if Xbox would release it and then go against what they did. But now that seems like it's the norm and no one's really talking about it because there's so many other things like price hikes and consoles and whatnot. Yeah, they're just going to implement this because they were quiet about this whenever they were first implementing it. And then people on Reddit started seeing things like this 30 days on the whole game license or whatever. Sony did confirm this is something that is happening. Article from .esports. Someone posted on Reddit about this situation. Title reads, PlayStation confirms new PS5 DRM policy requires monthly online check-in is intentional and not a bug. That was from April 28th. So they confirmed it's real. They confirmed it was real, which is very weird because a couple days later or so, they changed their mind. And instead are requiring a one-time only check-in to verify licenses for new digital purchases. And I'll admit that particular wording is from a summary from Google Gemini, but that's basically what Sony said. Here's an article from IGN. PlayStation addresses PS5 DRM concerns in new statement. Later on down the article, in fact, that article is by Kate Onder. Later on down the article, PlayStation confirmed that there is a one-time check-in to confirm the license, but beyond that, players won't experience any interruption. Sony's statement reads, players can continue to access and play their purchased games as usual, reads Sony's statement. A one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further check-ins are requested. So what was that 30-day check-in? Well, I've seen that it's probably Plus, which I can understand that. If you're paying for PlayStation Plus, yeah, you're going to have to check in at least 30 days. If you're still paying for it, you have to be online to have access to Plus. But that didn't seem like a PlayStation Plus game, or maybe it was, and that's just something that's there. I've never checked. Maybe I should check. Maybe put in the empty spot right there, because I love giving myself extra work. Putting that empty spot right there, my screenshot of that as I check on my PS5 if that's there for a non-PlayStation Plus game, which I have recently bought. NASCAR 25, I bought in March, so it is a non-PS5 or a non-PlayStation Plus game. So check that. You guys are not doing yourself favors. What are you doing? What has the PS5 done to you guys? What has this new generation of PlayStation and gaming in general done to this company? Now, I know Sony's not the best in the world. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I'm not a really big fan of any big corporation right now. Especially when it comes to raising prices and everything. Oh, no way. Everyone has to do it. I get it. But it's like they're affecting people like you and me the worst. And there seems to be no reprieve in sight. And I guess it's okay. But then when you do like this, it's like you really don't care. And then you were not responsive. This was known for a week. This was known for a week. This drama was known for a week. That there was a 30-day check-in you had to do every month for your digital purchases. And they just didn't say anything. For a week, people are angry about this. They were mad that you got to log in for your purchase that you already made. Why? And now all of a sudden you're speaking? What were you doing for the last week? What were you possibly doing? This is a big deal. A lot of people are mad at just about everything anymore, myself included. And when something like this is there and you say you have a reasonable explanation and it's a one-time online check and you don't say anything, hello? What are you doing? Idiots. These Sony people now are just brain dead. And I know that's ironic because, look. Whoops. Right there. Right there. I'm a PlayStation fan. I've been a PlayStation fan all my life. I'm not going to change the console that I play. I'm not going to go to PC. That's too expensive. And the Steam Deck, probably going to be way more expensive than what it should be for something like that. I don't want to particularly go to that. The only thing that really interests me is like handheld ones I can take on the go, like the Rogue Ally or the Steam Deck. But that's not where I'm going to primarily play games. And I've chosen what I want to play on, the PlayStation. But you keep making dumb decisions and raising prices for. I sort of understand why, but at the same time, it's like, take a loss. Your boss doesn't need an extra yacht. Do something else. Remember, same company that spent $400 million on Concord just to shut it down within a month, if that. How many months or how many millions of dollars they spent on Marathon right now? And yeah, it's pretty decent now. There were really concerns about it back then, back whenever it was like continuing to be developed or whatnot. But now it seems like a pretty decent game. How many millions of dollars were spent on that? Go look it up. For Spider-Man 2, it was like $200-some million like that. And that game was not even as good as the first one. I still loved it. Don't get me wrong. I was excited for it. It played well. I thought it was fun, but the story wasn't that good in comparison to the first one. I felt more like, not more like Spider-Man, but more invested in being Spider-Man in the first one than this new one. And then there wasn't even DLC afterwards. Because they shifted to the stupid live service focus, which most of their games have been canceled anyways. And it's ironic because the few games that they actually have brought, which is really literally just Helldivers 2 and then Concord, and Concord was just a disaster. You got lucky with Helldivers 2, and then you tried to ruin that by making all those people on PC sign in with their PlayStation accounts. Guys, I don't know anything. I'm dumber than a box of rocks. Don't get me wrong. I'll be the first to admit it. If anybody tries to say, oh, he talked too good about himself, blah, 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 or whatever. No, I am the exact opposite. I'll say what I am. I know who I am, and I know that I have a lot of flaws and a lot of things that could do better. But and one of the biggest things is I don't know a lot about stuff. I could be reading more, I could be finding stuff out, but whenever it's stuff like this that I care about, like video games like Sony PlayStation, I care. And when I see stuff like this, And when I see their prices will increase as well, just like how Xbox did, and I see that there's a potential of them doing this DRM thing that they physically and that they literally made fun of the competition with over a decade ago, I get a little heated. So great, it's a one-time check-in. Okay, fine. How the hell else are you going to purchase games mostly? I guess you could purchase them on PlayStation Store on a browser. You could use the PlayStation app. I get that. But if you're on a PlayStation, you're already online. If you get it through the phone and you get it through the desktop, fine. I get that. Whatever. Check it in one time and you're good. Fine. But you're already on your PlayStation if you're buying the game anyways. If you're using the PlayStation, is this still going to go forth with the PS4? Especially whenever it's getting really close to you all really thinking about turning the servers off for that. Also, side note, PS3 servers are still online. Not only are PS3 servers still online, PS3 purchases are still available. You can still buy games on the PS3 store. Do you just forget? Do you just forget that because fans get onto you all the time? In fact, I could absolutely see in the past week that this is something fan outrage happened, and once again, Sony had to backpedal because this is something they always do. They always introduce something that they're going to do, or they do it for like a week or maybe 2 weeks, but then there's such backlash, they're just like, oh, that's okay. It's just one time. We promise. Yeah, one time. If people were okay and accepting of it, it wouldn't be one time. Luckily, there are still people that want to own their in some form or capacity. Yeah, they don't want to own the physical issue of it, which is another problem. But at least if they know if they go online or offline, they can still play their game. At least there's still people that can want to do that. We're not totally linked up with online yet. Even though, unfortunately, we're getting fairly close to people being like, okay, whatever. It's online. I can play whenever I want. Fine. I'll spend $50, $60. Oh, I don't have online. Well, I guess I didn't need to play that anyways. I don't want that anyways. $60, $50, $70. So stupid thinking, in my opinion. Such stupid. So I can't wait to see what's next for Sony, honestly. Here's the crazy thing. Xbox is continuing to, in the background, have people saying like, oh, they got big stuff planned. In fact, I heard a rumor, which I've heard a lot of rumors about the Xbox here in the last week or so, since talking about the price going down for Ultimate, that I found really interesting. Some of them I've only seen once, so I didn't really ignore it. But I saw this a couple times yesterday, which is why I'm going to bring it up, because it's relatively recently, which was something I would love for them to do. Love for them to look back on and see if they can do. Is reopen up the backwards compatibility program. That's cool. I like that. If they can somehow get more licenses to games to play in the from back in the day, I'm cool with it. Because they have a ton. They have a ton of 360 games that you can play, and every Xbox One game is available. Or at least most of the Xbox One games. Probably all that they literally can do. Not even licenses. It's just like playable. Make them playable, you know? Probably all they can do, they've done with the Xbox One, because basically what these systems are Xbox One Pluses. But they have a lack of original Xbox games. They really do. I think they have, what, 60? 50, 60? Something like that? They have a lack of backwards compatible Xbox games. That should be worked on now more than adding any more 360 games into the mix. There's plenty of 360 games you could still bring over. But if they bring this backward compatibility thing back, you need to seriously think about bringing back, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. You own Activision now. Tony Hawk just worked with you with Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. You can't tell me you can't make some kind of deal out with your own company to put the old school games back on. People have been wanting a remake of Underground 1 and 2 forever. This would kind of just be like, it's not necessary. If you have an Xbox, just pop the disc into your system and it's upgraded 1080p, 4K, whatever. Great sound. Play it on your HD TV. That'd be a great idea. Old Need for Speed games do the same thing. Now, be a little harder because I guess licensing with the music or whatnot for both games. Don't get me wrong, for both games. But if you can get the licensing stuff down with those, with licensing in terms of the music or whatnot, even if you have to remove some of the tracks from the older games, like what Run DMC, I think, or there was something with I thought it was Run DMC that they were having issues with that couldn't get the music in 1 and 2 at least. 3 and 4 just needs an entire like loads of tracks on there. There's so many missing. They got the big hits, but not enough. But then the underground games, you can license those out, and then there's other Tony Hawk games you could put on there still. There's American Wasteland. Wasteland was so good. I actually like Wasteland better than Underground 1 or 2, but that's not here or there. Sorry. But there's a lot of potential for more original Xbox games to make it on the backwards compatibility program, which is why I'm really a big fan, and I hope there's something to this. Only time will tell with that. But at least they have positive momentum finally going. After a year of so much negative momentum, from a sea of years that momentum was just going slightly down, all of a sudden 2025 hits. And it's now like, well, they're starting to see positive momentum. What's their competition doing? And technically right now, their competition's still Sony. Well, what are they doing? Well, recently, they're raising the prices of their biggest consoles, including their main Pro console being $900. And they're also requiring you to possibly have to check in every once a month to make sure you own the games that you bought with real-world money that you downloaded. They're making you check in every month via the internet. Oh wait, no, it's a one-time check-in. It's a one-time check-in. We promise. Please stay with us. We're Sony. Please stay with us. God. Makes me sick. If I'm not totally right on everything I'm talking about, just tell me in the comments or whatever. I'm sure I'll get butthurt somewhere along the way. Anyways, let's continue on. And that was the light stuff. I think that was light in comparison to what I'm going to talk about next. Because that just deals with, people not owning stuff, Yeah, it's a minor screw over, but if it's like implementing it starting in March, you buy a game from March to now. Okay. At least your whole library beforehand isn't on that. So I guess you're like, still, it sucks. It's not a thing that should be implemented. It sucks. Call spade a spade. It sucks. But and what sucks more is just feels more like an inconvenience that Sony's even doing that. Also, the reason why was because of the whole fact that people were sharing their accounts and letting people play games that they didn't pay for on like their friends or brothers or sisters' accounts or whatever. It's so dumb. Just who cares? If one person bought it, they want to share with their friend, who cares? Wasn't that what you all were saying? It makes the video of their two, like, I guess the CEO and one of their spokespeople or whatever, sharing a physical disc, really just stupid. But it's digital, so I guess it's okay that they can do that. At least physical's okay. That's a good thing about physical, at least. Or until they turn them into just key cards, just like how Nintendo does. We have strayed so far away from being what gaming used to be. Maybe I'm an old head. I'm an old head now, I guess. I don't like where this is going. I don't like where we've been going. But here we are. I guess also you could say this is light too, but to me it does affect someone actually, like, big time in a sense. The Pokemon Company over a week ago responded to the unsportsmanlike pop-off drama, which is... I gotta read this. This is just ridiculous. It's one in particular that I'm going to read. So, Pokemon's statement from community.pokemon.com. Statement regarding Orlando Pokemon Regional Championships. I briefly mentioned this, I think, because I watched a video of Moist Critical go over the Pokemon Go thing. Apparently there was one of the TCG, which, by the way, if you're having two issues with two separate types of games of your brand, probably, maybe it's an issue with you. Maybe it's a you issue and how you dictate things. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But I just wanted to focus on the Pokemon Go one, not the TCG one, although I need to look more into that one, I guess. But this comes from the administrator on this Pokemon community website, TPCI_Ollie from April 21st. So it's been a little bit, but it is out there and I wanted to share it. This just irritates the shit out of me. In the second instance, which is the one we're talking about, during the Pokemon Go Grand Finals, we would like to share some information which may not be known to the broader community. Prior to the final game incident, during Game 1 of the Bracket Reset series, a player was issued a warning for the action of hitting and shaking the table during gameplay. Actions such as these can have a negative impact on the experience of participants and disturb the match in progress. Then, during Game 5, the same player's behavior continued to be disruptive, including shaking the table to the point that there was a disruption to the broadcast experience. These repeated infractions resulted in a penalty that was escalated to a game loss. We will uphold the decisions made by the judges at this event. Pokemon judges are committed to bringing the best possible experience to our players by preserving the competitive integrity of our events. Without them and their commitment to play Pokemon, we would not be able to hold events, and it is our expectation that they are treated with the same respect as all people in the community. Hey, how about you respect people for actually reacting like people in situations? You don't respect that. You don't respect the people in the community in that sense. If you look at the video of him reacting, go watch that Moist Critical video again. He's reacting for something that happened in game like any other relatively normal person would. Was it a bit of an overreaction? Some people might say. Some people will say, well, in that situation, you got to be more poised. What's wrong with having human reactions? With getting emotional about something you care about? Why is just being human getting penalized? Now, grand scheme of things in life, this doesn't mean anything. But I will say this guy apparently came from like a loser's bracket up to the top bracket. He was given a warning, which, yes, granted, I get it. If you're given a warning and you do something later on in the thing, they have the right to disqualify you. Yes, that's how gaming, that's how sporting events, whatever, that's how that works. But it's just another thing. I'm just sick and tired of these people. People are supposed to just be robots, just playing a game and just being robots, and you can't react like you're human. During the tournament, I'm sure he was doing fine. He was playing as they should be. You slip up one time and have some kind of human reaction, that's it. Game lost. All that effort for nothing. What? Stop. Stop it. We're not that lost here. Games aren't that important to where you have to be so meticulous and so strict with everything. You're Pokemon. Are you kidding me? You're Pokemon. You sell stuff to kids. People want to take things seriously with your game. So you hold events, but then you think your shit don't stink and try to be all professional and everything. When someone just has an emotion to something that happened in a game during their tournament, you're like, nope, can't do that. Nope, can't, nope. L. So we're not allowed to own what we have after initial purchase, and we can't react to it or else we just lose. Or we're considered the loser or the bad guy. All right. I'm trying to get the notion of how we're supposed to do it in a professional sense, in a professional manner, in a pro setting. I'm still learning in my life. Actually, no, I'm not learning. I'm violently rejecting this notion that we shouldn't act like people and we shouldn't have to not own stuff that we pay full price for. This is just a larger issue that I don't want to go about, but it's getting involved with gaming and stuff, and it's just irritating the absolute shit out of me. You see why this is a more negative episode? At this point, I don't blame you. Go listen to last week's episode. Go listen to STPP because God knows you can't watch the new episode. Go do that. Because we're just getting more and more in the weeds from here. There's one more topic I want to talk about, and I'm not going any deeper than this. I don't want to look at other people's reactions to it because the main thing I wanted to bring up was their statement, just like Sony's statement, that I highly disagree with and think they're morons. They're morons for taking this so damn seriously, and they're morons for not looking at it and being like, oh, maybe the officials overreacted. No, they're staying with their officials because it's there, and if they show that maybe if they made a mistake for one reason or another, that would look bad on them. Screw that. I feel bad for the guy that made it that far, but this doesn't surprise me one bit. I'm not surprised for them sticking up with the officials or whatnot. It's just so stupid. And what's worse is the people's takes online that are defending it. That are defending this the big corporation for doing that. would some of the same stuff happen in sports? Absolutely. Happens all the time. But you'd think it'd be a little different for Pokemon. You'd think. But it's not. It's that competitiveness, and then try to depend on a big company that wants to make everything look official and legit and not have any fun because it's supposed to be competitive. I guess competitiveness means no fun. Great. Another thing that's no fun police in my life that I have to see. Great. Fantastic. All right. So this next thing is the reason why I kind of separated last week into this week in two separate episodes. One being more of a lighthearted, good episode, and this one just being more vitriolic, more definitely more anger involved in this. This particular thing right here is what I want to talk about the most. And I don't want to talk about it the longest. I again, like I said at the start, I really don't feel like making this episode just because it's so negative. But I wanted to get one out. You all don't need to not listen for me again, just randomly. I'm going to work on finishing STPP video version. That'll be up later as well. It'll look like 2 or 3 videos at once today, but it's just making up for what I missed. So yeah, there's a big part of me that doesn't, but I want to and I need to. And I think it'll get my opinion across, whatever that means to you as a listener. Depends on how much you like my stuff, how much you like STPP, and just depends on if you even care what I have to say. And if you do, thank you. Thank you for listening this far in. So, but if this changes your mind one way or another, I'm not sorry. There are literally thousands of other podcasts that have far more listeners and far more viewers, that have far different leaning and far same leaning, even more hardcore than mine. And I will be the first one, as I've mentioned multiple times in this episode. Go find a podcast you like. Go do that. And you might, in fact, I'm doing it so much, you're probably getting tired of me saying it, just getting to the point. But I'm telling you, this right here is going to be a turning point for some people. If the other two weren't, and my getting angry weren't, this topic absolutely will. Buckle in. We're going to go down a very big problem with a very little character. I want to preference it by saying, but I think that Capcom's really been doing well here. I always like to go back to whenever they were like one of the first ones to kind of get caught doing the whole DLC and putting the DLC on the disc, but then trying to make people pay for it. I feel like they were one of the first ones that really get caught to try to do it like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember the horse armor thing with Oblivion. I didn't play Oblivion when it first came out. I don't know if that horse armor was on the disc already. They were just trying to sell it for more, but that was a huge controversy at the time too. But man, it's nothing compared to stuff now, let me tell you. Paying for a horse armor skin like $3 or $4, and yet you got free-to-play games trying to sell skins for 30 or 40. Awful. Anyways. Yeah, they hid characters behind a DLC paywall that was already on the disc. You already should have owned them. But because they wanted to get more money, they're like, well, we're just going to lock them. It's like how WWE 2K26 has the season pass, and they're already stuff you've probably played and earned 1,000 times from games past, but now you have to do a ring pass to unlock them again. Kind of the same thing now. Only now, like I said, much worse. Yowza. But they've been hitting bangers for years now. Capcom's been doing really well. There was a point where Capcom really was struggling with this stuff. But now it seems like they're one of the more well-renowned game studios now. Resident Evil coming back strong with the last 3 games of that. 9 is the new one, Requiem. They just seem to have a more positive take on everything. And now Pragmata is out. And Pragmata sounds really good. It sounds like a really good game. Everything that I've been seeing on it, a lot of people are saying it's good. It's fun. It's emotional. It's a good story too. It's like how Joel and Ellie were in terms of like the father-daughter connection, but not being father-daughter, because in this instance it's whoever the main character is in like a little robot girl that's supposed to be a little girl. I was going to say looks like a little girl. There's sub crap into that. I'm getting into what I'm about to say. But I was looking up more on this because I knew it was a thing, and a Reddit post was asking, why are people being so weird about Pragmata? However you want to pronounce it. They didn't do this for The Last of Us, BioShock, God of War, and Death Stranding. That was the title. Saying people are getting parental instincts, which, yeah, stuff like that can. I mean, I'm sure it can. But some of these takes online are absurd. Post this picture of this girl, Diana, from the game. Twitter user, I'm not going to say the name. It's on the thing. I don't know if I want to regurgitate it myself. This tweet says, funny how y'all only have parental instincts, in quotes, for a child with a model woman's face plastered on it. Make her look like an actual child with missing teeth, short hair, bare face, snout, and see if those instincts kick in the same. The game openly caters to pedos. The gaslight is over. No. In fact, it's not over. Because you're gaslighting. So here's where we're going to divide now. Here's where I feel like you and I, listener, viewer, whatever, me, creator, podcaster, whatever I am in this world, fat guy with a stupid pube stash or pube beard. This is where we're going to either split or ride or die. Or at least ride or go to another thing that you're going to be like, I don't agree with you, I'm dipping out. For right now, we're going to build a stronger bond, or we're going to separate, and this isn't going to work. You're going to dislike the video, just not listen, not recommend anything, why do, whatever. This is where we separate, one way or another. If you sexualize kids in any way, this is my opinion, how dare you? That is wrong. That is ugly. That is disgusting. And you need serious help. I am not someone, though, that will advocate for death. I don't think death is a good thing. Death is a final thing, but death is not a good thing. And maybe you can't be helped. If you need serious help, but if you can't be helped, you need put away. You need put away for the rest of your life. And to make sure that no child, no boy, girl, whatever, gets anywhere near you. But also, if you think people, regular people, are playing this game and only feeling these natural human emotions because deep down they're some kind of sick, twisted creep, whatever, and you call someone these awful things and accuse people of being this stuff because they want to play this game where you're just where you just have a little girl robot companion with you and you want to take care of her, make sure you're okay, make sure she's okay, then you need to step offline more than anybody else. Go touch some grass yourself and kindly yourself. Shut the F up. I don't know why I'm censoring myself now. Shut the f up. Go outside. Get offline. And do something else with your life. That tweet that I read you is not the worst thing I read. Not the worst thing I saw about this game. One of the worst takes I've seen is something I actually shared on Facebook that I would like to repeat. I wasn't going to do this, and I'm not going to say who shared it originally or, who posted it, who made the original statement or whatnot. But I was just scrolling on Facebook. Sorry, I'm not showing the image of this person. Quote says, and I am not kidding with this quote. If I could get it to actually center up here to where I could read it, good Lord. Childless men do not have paternal instincts the way that childless women have maternal instincts. We observe this even in the way little girls play versus little boys. Men must first experience paternal instincts once they have their own children, and typically those paternal instincts are only ever felt for their own children and no one else's. Men are not nurturers. Men don't gush over cute kids in public. Men don't have baby fever. If a man wants to possess a child for any reason other than it being a product of his own lineage, possess what? He is likely a predator. And you'd be taking the feminist, radical gender abolition. Oh man, Buffalo education coming in very well here. Abolitionist position to protest any of the above points. This should explain why a dad simulator game marketed to mostly childless men gives people the creeps. I've crossed the line just now between playful anger and actual anger. As a childless man myself, I understand the point of not being a nurturer in terms of, well, we can't just, take a baby and have them suckle on our bosoms, because that's not how we work. That's not how I work. That's not how other men like me work. We are providers and nurturers. We're not nurturers. We are providers. We are parents a different way. That's what I'm saying. Don't gush over cute kids in public. Why would we? First of all, if we do that, you know what would happen? We would have people like you still calling us creeps and even if all we're doing is just being like, oh, that kid's cute. You have a cute kid. Men don't get baby fever. Again, first of all, I have had moments in my life, especially recently for some reason, last couple of years, where I've seen a couple babies and I'd go, be interesting to have a kid. Yeah, I think it would be cool to have a kid. And if a man wants to possess, why indeed would you call it possess? Would you use the word possess in terms of a child? A child isn't things. They're people like you and me. Like I am right now. They are a person that is just small and tiny. If I want to possess a child, how about if I want to raise a child or help give birth to a child? I can't birth them. I can't nurture them. But you know what I can do? Provide the seed that makes a kid a kid. Man wants to possess a child for any reason other than being a product of his own lineage. He is a predator. How dare you? If you get the creeps from this game, first of all, you play the game. I haven't played the game yet either. So you know what? Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm overreacting. And you know what? Fine. I'll eat crow if I'm overreacting. If I play this game, I'll eat crow if I play the whole entire game and I get these creeps of, thinking that my main character wants to sleep with this little robot girl. Fine. I'll eat crow and I will just have to deal with the label as they come, because idiots like this are just going to label me regardless. What happened to men and women just like wanting to be caregivers and nurturers without having some kind of bad thing happening? Like they have some kind of evil intention behind the scenes. We're all up. We're all messed up in the head. This is insane. This is an insane take. I can't look at it anymore. Get it out of my face. This game seems good. It seems like a single-player experience. It seems like a father-daughter-like story. If people alone find that as strange to play through it, whenever no one really had a problem with that with Ellie and Joel, like I mentioned, or BioShock with the little girl and Big Daddy, but they have a problem with this one? Well, it's because that little girl you see looks more like an adult than an actual kid. That's why people want to sleep with the little girl and everything. Which, by the way, there are people like that. There are people from every spectrum of everything that will have a take on games or media in general that you're going to disagree with. I disagree with what you're saying as much, if not more, or as much as I would disagree. How I disagree way more with people that are actually wanting to sleep with kids. Those people. That's insane. Your insanity comes from an entire different area of thinking that has completely been engorged by Reddit posts and X posts and TikToks and brain rot, and it's just consumed your mind to the point where you don't know you're from a hole in the ground. I am lucky that I've been trying to fix things that I didn't understand now, that I started years ago trying to fix things. There's still a lot of shit I don't understand. There's still a lot of shit I don't know. But there's one thing I know for sure. I look at this game and I see a fun experience with trying to take care of this little girl as a father-like figure that I don't want to. Where did you get that thought process from? Wherever it was, that's where you need to stay off of for maybe about 3 years. It's gross that no matter what side, no matter where you are on the argument or where you are on the fact of you want to or you think it's sick and everybody that likes the game is disgusting, that it's coming at the expense of a kid or of a kid-like character. You are doing what they're doing, only not as blatant. You're using her as like sexualized version of this little Diana girl in a video game, trying to disparage people from playing said video game on the assumption that they have some kind of negativity or some kind of conspiracy that all they want to do is do the other thing. People are sick. People are disgusting. People are just losing or lost their minds so much that there is not a middleman and that there is not some kind of understanding that, maybe men can feel baby fever. Maybe men do want to start families. Maybe there's not more. Maybe there's some understanding that, hey, they don't want to do anything other than just protect this girl and make sure she's okay. It's sick. People are sick. People are disgusting. And like I've showed you in this, more ways than one, people can be disgusting. It's absolutely, it's so gross that people will make suits and costumes or edits of this girl and make them look way more sexualized than what they should be. She's a little girl. Don't do that, you freak. That's disgusting and disturbing. You don't need to play this game. I'm giggling just because it's so absurd to me that people can legitimately feel that way towards a child. People could want to have sex with a child. It's absurd. But just like with everything else in this video, with something more going on to it that's a bigger issue than just video games, it's not surprising. And it makes me sad. People have lost their minds, and I don't think we're going anywhere close to finding them anytime soon. And things don't help in terms of being able to express opinions on going one way or the other, everyone fighting against each other and not trying to help any kind of problems that might be, even if the big problem is staring them right in the face. We'd rather go against one another now. It's great. It's fantastic. While it's not surprising, all the same. It's just disgusting. It's not the first time in life, obviously, in history that people have won each other like it is, but it's just so more prevalent just because it's all online now, and everyone can easily see it, and everyone can easily listen to this podcast and interpret my exact words one way or another how I feel, even if you're not in my head. You're going to interpret it one way or the other. Fine. Whatever. I'll censor out some of the words. I'll do what I can to clean it up some, but it's gross. It's gross where people's heads are. And that can go one way or the other. More ways than one, folks. I'm not going to do Patreon stuff. I'm not going to, as much as I should, I'm not going to do the W code. Just don't do that. Not today. I am going to emphasize that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I just want to bring that up. I just wanted to confirm it real quick. Yes, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, the negative here is that it's really having an effect on everyone's mental health big time. And it's awful where mental health is now. And I do want to do better in helping myself with other people's mental health, but it's really hard, for me and for everyone. Whenever you see things in niches that you like, just are so negative, and they're like, imagine race cars and they're going neck and neck, like that. That looked very not good. Sorry. But even in niches like I'm talking about that you absolutely love, and you're seeing negative things happen that kind of correlate with bigger things that are happening in life as well, and it's just like, come on, I can't catch a break. And it's no wonder that people, So, like always, like I do on STPP and OMO, if you need to reach out to someone, please do not hesitate to use that 988 number. If you're in crisis, if you need help, but you don't want to call the number, go. I highly recommend therapy. Or even if you don't want to go to therapy, just talk to somebody. Find someone to talk to. Get some stuff off your chest. See what they can do, what they might suggest, Journal. Write some stuff down, so if it's like automatic and you absolutely cannot get to anybody, journaling it will help in the moment. Do whatever you can to make yourself better, because we don't need to deal with the negative, the bad stuff. This is a rare episode too, because I'm not going to focus mainly on bad stuff, but this one is just so absurd with everything going on and how almost all of it can relate to real world problems. I had to do one episode like this, and I promise next week, not going to be like this at all. So enjoy the rest of the week. STPP will be out soon as well. I apologize for the hiccup and delay for that. And a reminder, STPP coming up this coming week, this next week, will be an all look at Jedi, as this will be for his birthday. That was this past Friday, and it will be an all Jedi episode one way or another. So thank you all so much for joining me. If you stayed this long, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. I may actually now go shave because I have looked at myself for an hour in this webcam. I look disgusting, and I shouldn't do that to myself because I'm highly certain that someone's going to make a comment. Also, I'm fat too. Did you notice that? Just pointing that out there too. So write that in the comments. Make sure you point that out. Be clever with it though too. If you're gonna say something, be clever with it, idiot. All right. I love each and every one of your faces, even if I highly disagree with stuff that you might say or do, whether on a moral or just an overall disagreement. I still love each and every one of your faces. I wish you all the best. If you need help, go get help. And try to have a better week than apparently this episode has been highlighting. See you next week. Things will be better. Things will always can and will get better. Like I said, I love your faces. Goodbye. If you or someone you know is in crisis, call or text 988 or visit 988lifeline.org for more information. Free, confidential, 24/7.